Hey writers, Emily Ray here, and it's almost my favorite month of the year, November, National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, where you write 50,000 words for the entire month, or 1,667 words a day. And the goal is to write a novel. So all of October, I've been brainstorming and outlining and doing character sheets. So when November comes, I could just sit down and I know what I'm going to write. It could be stressful, it could be tough. You can get writer's block and you don't know what to do. So it's good to have little motivations to keep you going. Mine is my NaNoWriMo winner jar. So every time I finish in November, I get my sand and I fill it up to indicate 50,000 words. So this year, to hold myself accountable, to make it a little easier, I'm going to do video blogs throughout the month of November. It's NaNoWriMo, day one, and I have everything I need. There's my coffee, headphones, my playlist. My dog is settled and sleeping. I have my outline and all my notes, and a blank chapter one. Let's do this. So on day one, I did pretty good. I got my first chapter written and started a little bit on my second chapter, because it's nice to not just stop at a chapter and then have to come back to write a new one the next day. It's nice to have a little bit of a starting point, so when I sit down, I know what I have to work on. So I just wrote a little bit of my chapter two, but now I kind of know where it's starting and where it's going. Still getting to know my main character a little bit more. It can be kind of tough, but that's the fun part. But I did pretty good. I feel pretty good about day one, and now I'm ready to start day two. So I know for me, I'm also getting a little bit, having a little hard time balancing writing, but also getting work done for my full-time job. And I know I'm not the only one out there, but it's still only the 3rd, so there is a lot of time to catch up in the future if I happen to get behind. So I'm not trying to worry too much. Hey guys, Nano day number 5, and I just finished Act 1, so I'm just about to head into that troublesome Act 2. And I want to kind of clear my head to get myself thinking about the next steps. So what I like to do is go for a run, listen to my Nano playlist, and it just kind of helps me get in the right mindset. I'm not gonna lie, this week has got me a little bit behind and a little bit discouraged about my word count. It's been a little bit stressful to just sit down and focus on it. And I know I'm not alone. This week has been a lot, but I'm just trying to write whenever I can. So I have a little bit of time now. I'm taking advantage of the nice weather and I'm outside and I am just writing. It's been stressful, but we're getting it done. So I just realized that my main character has been doing a lot of things by herself for the first 5 chapters. And I realized that's probably not the best way to write a manuscript. She's been playing a lot of video games and having a lot of inner monologue. But on the bright side, I really got her voice nailed down, and I think she's kind of a sassy, sarcastic, fun main character. But I think it's time to write a few other characters for her to interact with. Hey guys, I am in the middle of a writing session with an audience, and I wanted to give you a tip on how I don't edit during NaNoWriMo, and I know it can be tough. So, for example, I am on chapter 7, and then some things happen, I get a different idea, and then I want to change something that I made happen in chapter 2. So, it could be very tempting to go back and change chapter 2 when you're on chapter 7, but I don't really want to get into that character's old mindset. I want to stay in my character's current mindset. So, for an example, I keep a little bit of this is a master kind of sheet of the things I want to change, bigger edits right here. So, for example, Van got towed to Perrin's house, so it's sitting in the driveway. So what that is, in chapter 3, I had her van break down and it stayed in the repair shop. And then once chapter 7 came around, I thought, I kind of want her to have her van, so I want it to get towed to the driveway. So in chapter 7, it's magically in the driveway instead of the repair shop, and I'm going to write it that way going forward. But I'm not going to go back to chapter 2 to revise it, because I don't know what's going to happen. I might have to do other revisions in chapter 2. I might have to, or chapter 3, I might have to take that chapter out completely. I just don't know. So there's not really any point in going back and editing it. So that's just one little tip of how I get by. I just make a little master list. Once I'm ready to sit down again and write draft 2, then I have that list of things I know I need to change. So there's my little tip of the day. I got a little bit behind due to election reasons and 3 reasons. But I took all day to just do little 1,000-word sprints, and finally I'm caught back up and I feel good about it. All right, guys, real talk. I just hit a pretty big plot hole that I have to work through before I move forward. It will require a few rewrites in the beginning, and I don't like to go back and rewrite, but this is something that I think I kind of have to in order for the middle and the ending to make sense. So I'm a little bit torn right now on what exactly I should be doing. Luckily, I have some great critique partners to bounce some ideas off of. I have to retweak my outline a little bit. I'm looking at it like a roadmap, and I turned down the wrong road, and now I just have to backtrack just a tiny bit to get back on the right road. But I'm only about 20,000 words in, so it's not terrible if I have to go back a little bit and change a few things. I'm still gonna count those words for Nano that I wrote, even if I have to rewrite some scenes, but I'm not feeling great about having to change a lot of my plot at the moment. And my manuscript is a bit of a mess. It's all over the place. There's some scenes that need written, there's scenes that I know need edited, and I'm tempted to go back and edit them now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just keep moving forward. And I have a few tactics and few techniques of what I'm doing to make editing in the future easier, because I know what I need to do. So what I am doing, I'm using Scrivener, and I love Scrivener because it makes things easy. So right now I color coordinated my chapters. So I know what ones I need to go in and edit when I go in and do draft 2. So here's a purple scene, and all that's in it is notes of things that I think the scene should be about. So now that I'm writing forward, I know this scene exists even though I don't have any text or anything for it. I have this one that has absolutely nothing in it. Then I have this one that even has a scene in it that I might delete, but I still have my notes in there, so I know what information should be in this scene. And then with the chapters that I have information in it, and I have a whole scene written out, but I know some things will need changed, there's this little document note section over here where I can just write down something that I know I need to change. So I know I need to focus on selling nostalgia, which doesn't mean much to you guys, but it'll help me. And then same with there's a chapter 2, there's some notes in there. So when I go in and I write my draft 2, I could just go chapter by chapter, scene by scene, and just kind of click through and then reference my notes and edit it in my scene. So that'll be very nice when I go in to edit it. And then I know all the scenes that need to be added. So that'll be very helpful. So those are my little tips and my techniques of how I'm tackling draft 1 and how I'm going to tackle draft 2 when it comes. Hey guys, we are halfway through Nano, and what I'm learning right now is that I am used to writing big stories where the world is at stake, there's obvious bad guys, and people have to do all these action scenes and do all this stuff to save the world, basically. But the story I'm writing this time is a lot smaller. It's more of a personal story. It's about one person and her own personal problems. So it's easy to kind of write it and be like, well, nothing's really happening. It's not as exciting and thrilling as what I'm used to writing, but it's a lot more emotional and close to the heart, basically. And I kind of like it. It's kind of fun to really get in the head of someone who's going through something hard, as opposed to just explosions everywhere, which can be exciting, but it's a whole different writing style that I'm trying to grasp and learn. All right, I finally had that Eureka moment where I know where my story is going and how my characters are going to act and all these new important scenes I need and how I need to write the beginning. And this is why you write, and I'm super excited about it. And I feel like I know my characters more. I know their motivations. I know they're like full-fledged people. This might sound kind of weird, but when I start writing, I kind of picture my characters as like weird little cartoon characters who are really blocky and don't really have like distinct physical features. Even though I feel like I think I know what they look like. But then once I get to know them, they actually start to look like real people, and they start to just like have their own mind of their own and do their own stuff, and they have all these like, everything's just clear into place. And it's kind of a weird transition where it's like, okay, I know who this person is, and I had to write 30,000 words to at least know a little bit, and I know by the time I finish the manuscript, I'll know them even more. But I am super excited now. I know where to go with my story. I have all these scenes that I'm excited to write, and I have characters that I am invested in. It just takes a little bit of time, and I'm glad to put the time in, and I'm really excited to move forward. Hey guys, I am downstairs in my basement brainstorming, which might sound weird, but my main character lives in the present, but she's stuck in her past for some certain plot reasons, and I need an idea for kind of a nostalgic moment. So I was thinking, what can I do? What would be something that's kind of cool and fun? So I decided to go in my basement, open up my little bin here that is even labeled as old, and to just go through all of my old stuff in hopes to get some inspiration. So I have some old pictures in here. I even have like some old composition notebooks with some old stories that I started. Like, that's super old. I have some CDs. I don't even know what's on here, along with just some old like strategy guides, things like that. So I'm hoping I can go through all of this stuff tonight and get a little bit of inspiration and motivation for my nostalgic scene. So wish me luck. This will be my night. Hey guys, it is Nano Day 23, so we were getting down to the wire. And I learned this weekend that I don't really have a strong external conflict for my story, which means I don't have a lot of action and I don't really have a plot or a book, but I am figuring it out. I have a pretty strong internal conflict where I know what my character is thinking, I know what her growth is going to be, but she's not really doing anything externally. She's not just interacting with the world too much. She's more in her own head, and I know that was a pretty big problem. So what I did is I kind of took the weekend to figure that out. I took down everything I already had written along with new ideas that I had and just brainstormed. And now I think I have a pretty good external conflict that I'm going to start weaving into what I already wrote. And I just want to say, I know Nano can be stressful. You want to use all the free time you have to get those words in to reach 50,000, but I am a supporter of quality over quantity. So if you do need to take some time to brainstorm and redo your outline, I suggest doing that instead of just writing filler words while you can. That is going to be more beneficial than just spewing a scene onto the page that you know you're going to cut. And I know it's tough. I know we all have limited time, but the point of Nano is to just kind of get your story started, get yourself thinking, get some, like a stronger outline. I did it! I just finished NaNoWriMo, 50,000 words. There's the proof, and there's the chart. Now, I am pretty far from finishing this story. I probably have a few thousand words I still have to go. I'll probably end up finishing it around 80,000. So I'm not going to stop writing it, but I do not have to really rush to hit the word count every single day, but I'm still gonna try because I like goals. So now I get to do my favorite part and fill up my NaNoWriMo winner jar. So I have all these little indicators on the back of all the years that I have written 50,000 words. So now I get to add some sand, adding up to 50,000 for this year. Like every grain of sand represents the word, kind of. All right, so I will perfect that a little bit later, but there we go. This is my 8th year. So I have reached 400,000 words total, which is pretty exciting. So I hit my word count, but my story is not done, so I still gotta go write, but there it is. 50,000 words for 2020.